everyone. My name is Wei-Lu, and I'm a fourth-year PhD student. Today, I'm gonna talk about my current research on future directions for designing related technologies. So, first of all, what is relatedness technology? So, I draw on the definition from Wang et al. Last year's full paper at CHI conference. They said relations technology is technologies that enable two or more people to interact in ways that fulfill the need for relatedness over distance by providing them with emotional closeness or feelings of belongings. So relatedness technology can look very different in practice. For example, there's like video chat like Zoom that supports face-to-face real-time communication. There's text message like WhatsApp supports asynchronous sharings. There's like gamified design like Among Us, like support connections through co-play experience. There's also other kind of design, and this is called Playmate. It's in my research, which support joint activity through guiding cooking tasks. So this example show relatedness is a broad category, not just a single communication tool. But this diversity also raises an important design challenge. So one of the challenges is that many related technology follow a one-size-fits-all design logic. They often assume that one interaction style can support all users in the same way. But distant relationships are very heterogeneous. People differ in how often they want to interact, how openly they express their emotion, and how much structure or reciprocity they prefer. So the key question is not simply whether a design works, but who it works for and under what relational conditions, which lead to my primary research question. How can we systematically design related technologies that adapt to diverse relational needs and support sustained interaction across different distant interpersonal contexts? So it's a long research question, and we can break down into three key components. The first one, which is the phase one of my study, is about how does technology adapt to diverse relational needs. So first of all, let's try to figure out what are the user needs. And from my study, we collect a lot of barrier through interviews, through survey, and through literature review. So there's barriers like schedule conflicts, privacy concern, culture difference, low sharing willingness, generational gaps, or just don't know what to share in everyday using everyday context. So in my phase one study, I organized the findings into four recurring challenges in distant relationship, and I am particularly interested in two of them: low quality, uh, low quality conversation and low motivation to communicate. So low quality conversation is about what happens after communication begins. Many interaction remain short, repetitive, and surface level, which makes it hard to create meaningful connection over time. And low motivation to communicate is about the difficulty to initiate interaction or conversation. Even when people care about their relationship, they might feel too tired, too busy, or simply unsure how to start. So the consequence is communication might delay or depend too much on one person, or the conversation just never start. So once we understand those recurring challenges, the next step is to look at some prior work um, researchers designed. And what I see is that related technology explored many different mechanisms. For example, there's some support synchronous interaction. There's some focus on asynchronous sharing, asynchronous empathy communication. So this for like that rebuild for two, that is from Dr. Stacy Branham's dissertation. And there's other kind of design which allow different expressive modalities. So Kissinger is a good example. It allows users to kiss remotely using the device as shown in the figure. And there's also some other gamified design, some create co-presence, and there's more recently, some introduce AI as a mediator or a proxy for their interaction. But are these mechanisms all suitable for different distant relationships? Which lead me to the second part of my research question. How does related technology sustain interaction? So I conduct 5 case studies in my phase two. And the first one, which is called Daily Bean, it's on the top left. And this is the my first CSCW paper. Daily Bean is a diary keeping app on the App Store. I utilize it to observe what people share and record in their in such kind of diary format techniques. Um, its core mechanisms. So this study's core mechanism lies in diary exchanges, which transform everyday's experience into conversational resources. And in this study, I want to understand how recorded diary contents function as different kinds of prompts in their communication. So whether more content or greater detail is always better. And what I found is that this content does help expand and deepen conversation in some specific scenarios, but without reciprocity mechanisms, they may also lead to like one-way sharing. And the second study is called Fit to Draw. So it is an undergraduate capstone project I lead, and which also won the first place in VTurks, published at Kai Play Student Game Design Competition. So Fit to Draw is a location-based games, kind of like draw and guess, but using your footprint to draw on the map. So Fit to Draw uses synchronous location-based co-play to create connection through playful outdoor coordination. And in this case, I look at how real-time co-play support distant interaction. What I learned is that gamified design is an effective way to encourage engagement, but it also requires high coordination, and engagement may be hard to sustain if the users are not interested in such kind of activity sim. Yeah. And the third one is called Mission Realm. It is another location-based games like Treasure Hunt, uses asymmetric collaboration to let distant users share their outdoor exploration through interdependent roles. So, for example, if I want to share or introduce the Virginia Tech campus to a distant friend, um, mission realms allow my friend to participate in exploration rather than just watching it. So there's stories, there's tasks. You got to figure it out where the landmark is, and it will tell you some history about Virginia Tech. And through this case, I found that asymmetrical collaboration can create shared exploration and co-presence, but it also introduces tensions around pacing, control, and coordination. And this is my the fourth study, which is called Kinspire, and it is another CSCW paper. Kinspire is a prompt-based card drawing game for a distant parent-child relationship. It works kind of like Truth or Dare. So in each round, players will draw a card and try to complete the task on it. But unlike a typical party game, these tasks are designed based on relationship maintenance strategies like openness, positivity, or joint activity. So instead of simply encouraging communication in general, I wanted to examine how different relationship maintenance strategies could shape the quality of interaction. So I recruited 14 Chinese international student families, and I used family communication pattern theory to classify families with higher versus lower willingness to engage in conversation. So this helped me observe how different communication pattern types respond to different kind of prompt task. Yeah. So what I found is prompt task, yeah, does support some more meaningful communication, but not in the same way for every family. Some families engage more with emotionally open prompts like self-disclosure, self-reflection, while others respond better to like lighter or activity-oriented tasks. So again, the mechanism does matters, but the feed between mechanism and the target audience context are more important to consider. After Kinspire, so one thing I learned is that um, putting prompts in design really matters. So the next question for me is if we push like the guidance or higher or design a lot of prompts and put it in our system, can we lower the barrier for some joint activity, which is difficult to coordinate or sustain, and make it more sustainable as an engaging long-term rituals or interaction? So to explore this, I designed Playmate, a cooking sharing system guided by an AI pet. And in Playmate, there's an AI pet called Kidney, which is yeah, on the left red circle. Yeah, it lead users step by step through like recipe selection, ingredient preparation to share the cooking works, and Kidney, the AI pad, will grade your cookings based on your the pictures and the diaries you upload. So in Playmate, yeah, the what I want to understand here is how people adapt to such kind of highly guided mechanisms. What I found is that this kind of AI mediated guidance can reduce initiation burden and help people get into the interaction more easily, even for a highly collaborative activity like joint cooking. But users do not respond to it in the same way. Some found it supportive and motivative, um, while others feel like they need more flexibility. They want to choose what kind of cuisine they want to try it out this week. They need more, it's lack of autonomy for them. So again, the value of mechanism depends not only on the design itself, but on how well it fits the user and the relational context. So which lead me to the third part, the third component in my primary research question. So in phase two, I compare multiple relatedness technology mechanisms across different cases. Each mechanism has its own strengths and limitations. There's pros and cons, and different mechanisms may be suitable for specific distant relationships or communication context. To explain this pattern, I draw on self-determination theory. So it's a well-established motivational theory in psychology proposed by Dr. Ryan and Dr. Daisy, which argues that human motivation is shaped by three basic psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So across my studies, I found that relatedness technology often differed in how much they support these needs. For example, some designs give users more freedom in how they express themselves, like Daily Bean, the diary sharing study. Some provide more structure and more guidance, like Playmate. So based on this, I set three critical parameters for my design space. The first one is expressive freedom. It measures how freely user can choose what to express and how to express it. The second one is structural guidance. It measures how a system directs user interaction. The third one is reciprocity structure. It measures how a system organizes exchange and its response between users. So these three parameters become the XYZ axis of a three-dimensional design space. So my anticipation is that in this design space, the three critical parameters define a structural way to position and compare different related technology designs. Based on a target persona or relational context, designers can reason about what level of expressive freedom, structural guidance, or reciprocity structure may be most appropriate for their target audience. And this helps them to evaluate existing designs, compare alternative directions, and identify more suitable archetypes for future design. So yeah, so this is my future work, and my envision is I'm gonna provide a system with instrument to help designer configure what the level of each critical parameters they are looking for, and which will map to the specific corner on the design space. For example, if a designer said, "Hey, I want to create something like joint activity for and I want to make it into like a weekly rituals for my users." They'll probably refer to the archetype on the yeah. There's a small square, the design space on the bottom right corner. So it is called ritualized shared activity, and they might see some literature review or some application they can refer to, like PlateMate, with high structural guidance, low expressive freedom, and high reciprocity structure. And on the other side of the design space, there are other kind of archetypes, which is called open-ended keepsake sharing. So this is just another example. And the pictures is research called memory pin, which provide low structural guidance, high expressive freedom, and low reciprocity structure. Hood is not the one that the correct answer for the designer. So yeah, that is my current work on my design space and the design framework. Thank you, everyone.